So I just saw a couple of the questions that have been posted up, and I'm in the perfect spot to answer one of them at least, or maybe a couple of them. But this is my beautiful college that I went to, and this is the building that I spent all my time in, most of my time in, the literature building. So I studied literature and art, and that was the time when my love of symbols, of receiving like guidance and meaning through symbols really blossomed, because I learned so much about, you know, how God would communicate these amazing, intricate synchronicities and symbols and symbolism through images, through words. This would be communication, and it would always seem, you know, the things that would speak to the person who's reading it or the person who's looking at it. It speaks to you in a certain way because it is speaking to the spirit, and because it's speaking to your spirit through every single tiny little detail. I'm vividly remembering now one of the professors here talking about saying God is in the details, and that's a quote from like an architect. And you know, people always say the devil's in the details, which can also be the case, since, you know, God and the devil, it's like, you know, flip sides, duality, darkness and light. But the thing about, I'm just taking in the beauty here. I love it so much. But the thing about God and the details is that when you're seeing the signs, the synchronicities, the symbolism, it's absolutely everywhere in every moment. So the reason I bring this up is because there is a question posted about, and thank you, keep sending your questions, because I'm probably going to do short little readings and things. I'm not going to use the cards this time, but I probably will real soon. This question is about those times when you feel foggy and you need clarity and you feel like the clarity is just not coming. And I will tell you, those times happen. It's like a roller coaster, you know, because you're like, well, I've got a lot of clarity, and then you're in a state of fogginess and contrast and confusion and no clarity. You know, just up and down, and you know, it's like our human mind wants life to be like a boat ride, you know, like a boat ride at Disneyland, Disney World. And it's really a roller coaster, and it's never ever going to be a boat ride. If you're really living, if you're really engaged, if you're really aware. Because if it's a boat ride, that means you're numb, that means you're asleep. And that is basically, it's like this whole process is realizing, oh wait, I've been on a boat ride. Oh shit, like I need to get on the roller coaster, right? Because the boat ride is just, you know, living death, right? So, point being, there's times of confusion, the times when you need the clarity. It is absolutely everywhere. The guidance can be found absolutely everywhere. The trick is, and you know, I still experience this, of course, like everyone does, but you know, every person you see out there that is offering spiritual guidance, that's offering a spiritual path, or like an approach or whatever, every single person, even if it's like, you know, I was going to say the Buddha, but that's not practical. The Dalai Lama, even if it's the Dalai Lama, that person still struggles at times with confusion, with, you know, Jesus did, everyone does, with times of feeling like, oh, the guidance is gone, or oh no, I'm on my own now. Every single human does. And you know, we will all continue to, no matter how aware we become, no matter how awake you become, you're still going to have those times. But here's the key. This is what I feel like he is. Seeing the guidance in every single thing, it doesn't mean, it's not a wild goose chase, like, oh wait, there's a sign, what does that mean? What does this sign mean? What does that sign mean? What it is it's a process of opening and opening to receive what's being sent in every single moment. Because when we're like, okay, I'm confused, I need clarity, I'm going to look for signs, please send me a sign, you know, and we ask for the signs and we watch for the signs. And that seems to be the time when we need the signs, and it's like it's just not coming, right? It's like that watch pot. It's like I just can't. I'm not receiving the guidance. And I know that's how you're feeling. The person that posted that, I know that's how you're feeling right now. So in those times, what's important to do is to stop, to not resist the confusion, to not resist the feeling of, because the mind says, oh, if I'm confused and I don't know, then that's bad, because I need to know. I need to know things, and how am I going to be able to do anything if I don't know? But the key is actually to release into the not knowing, to surrender to the not knowing. It's something we talk about so much, that fool energy, you know. So I will say again, the most powerful, spiritually powerful thing you can ever say is, I don't know. To just open up and say, I don't know. And when you're feeling confused, to say, I am totally confused, I'm lost, and I don't know what to do. When you truly say that and surrender and say, God, you know, guides, please show me what to do. My own higher self, please show me what to do. When you really give into that, release into that, that's when that sign comes. You know, that's when that clarity comes. But it's not until we dive in and go through the feelings that come from the confusion, because that's what's really trying to come up to be recognized, right? So it's like that confusion is sort of pointing the way towards something that we might be resisting feeling in that moment. So if it's like, okay, I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling afraid of this next thing. And the fear is the feeling that needs to be acknowledged, and there's something under the fear. Like it's a fear of, you know, I'm going to lose control, and then everything's going to go haywire, and then I'm not going to be worthy of love or anything, because my worthiness comes from staying in control. Okay, so if that's the fear, then the confusion sets in and it triggers the fear, because it's like, oh no, I'm not in control. And then we just kind of go in the mental cycle, the mental pattern of feeding the confusion, and then the mind is actually blocking, actively blocking with that energy, all of the signs, signals, guidance that is coming in, all the messages that are coming in all the time. So then when it's like, okay, I'm going to feel this thing. I'm going to feel this thing that I'm really trying to resist feeling, and it is the fear, and underneath it is this, you know, oh no, I'm not going to be loved, or I'm going to fail, or whatever it is. Which really almost always goes back to, and then I won't be loved, because there's that fear of not being loved. And once you know you are loved unconditionally and all the time, then that fades in its potency, although it still pops up. Okay, so diving into that, then it loses its power, because then the mind goes, oh, I guess we've released that. I guess we've given into that. Okay, all right. So just going back to the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, it's like it literally is in everything. It's so layered. It's so intricate. And that's because it's God, you know, and God is unfathomably layered and intricate. So if it's like your mind is trying to go, wait, how can everything contain a sign or a symbol or synchronicity in every moment? Because that's God. And that's the answer to give your mind, because, you know, when our mind's trying to unravel the mystery and go, wait, how can this be? How can this be possible? That's where we get tripped up again. Anything that our minds are trying to figure out is going to block what the Spirit's trying to connect us to. That unlimited knowing, that unlimited guidance that is there. And it doesn't mean the mind's not useful. Of course it's useful, but it has to follow the soul. Okay, so I found another hazard for my outdoor readings, which is I was doing that and it's really hot, and my phone cut out because it's too hot. So in the car, really quickly, since my cards are here, I'm going to pull a card about this situation. Well, something that fell out was feeling alone. So what they're showing me, this is a 5, you know, so 5 brings change. So one thing that's kind of exciting to think about is when you're in this place of like feeling alone and you don't seem to have much to go by, just this little light, you see where you want to go, but it feels like a long way away. But here's what they're showing me. Okay, so this might be the only card we need, but okay. Yeah, remember it's bringing change, this 5 for change. So remember, you know, after that feeling is always the expansion, always the connection. That always happens when we finally dive into the emotions represented by this water here. So when we finally cross over the emotional barrier that we're using as a barrier because it's being resisted, when we cross over that to get closer to this home, following the intuition represented by the moon there, keeping your light lit, which is keeping, you know, open to the guidance that comes in. When you do that, you'll always move toward that home. You'll always move in the direction of that home. Yeah, okay. And there, I am going to do one more card. Let's see. Last one. Okay, so this is the representative of the Hangman card, which has been coming out a ton in readings lately. It's this energy of surrendering and gaining new perspective from being in that state of surrender, from being in that state where you can't do anything. And you can see things from that state from every angle. And it's a state in which you can align with the guidance. So always during the confusion, it's just important to dive into whatever it is that needs to be gone into. The thing that is, you know, stop and ask, what am I resisting? What am I resisting? And it'll probably be something painful. But then you tell yourself to dive into that, to move into that. Just like those women I think we've talked about with the labor pains that learn how to like dance through them. It's like they learn how to ride the waves of that. To go with it. The quicker we do that. I mean, well, we all do that eventually. There's no avoiding it because there's no way around it but through it. And if we do try to go around it, then it suppresses and becomes something else, you know, an illness or some complication or something that then needs to be mirrored out and seen in the world around us, like as a problem. So the more quickly we can dive in and go with it, the more quickly we get that release and that expansion and that movement forward. As the Chariot, 7 for divine guidance, movement forward, moving you closer to love, closer to connection. So I hope that helps with that question, and we'll be doing a few of these little short ones. So thank you. See you soon.